I got no time to parlay, unless it's big checks or parlays. I've been rich, it's not far away. Light the spliff and I stargaze. Consultation with the constellations. They said the world was in a dark phase. It got me desperado for protection. Carry big strap in a guitar case.
I want to preface by saying that I personally am a huge fan of Han Sung-Yu Examination. I feel like every series, whether it's a game, a book, something you're watching, I feel like it has a moment where you're like, you may be along for the ride, but there's a moment where you strap in and you say, oh, I'm not getting off. Like, I'm here to the end. Like, the hook, the part that really grabs you and gets you. Like, I would say for something like One Piece, that moment could be Nami when she's dabbing the Arlong tattoo and Luffy comes, puts the hat on her head. That's the moment I think a lot of people were like, okay, I'm a One Piece fan forever. For me, it was this test, this examination, this game, whatever you want to call it. Because I'm thinking to myself, okay, like, this is going to be really intellectual and people don't have to be cerebral to get through these tests. You could be lucky, you could be strong, but if you have someone who's smart, you're going to need that. So we have Kun for Rack and Bam because, you know, he's the thinker out of the group. But more importantly, the part that really impressed me upon my initial read of the webtoon was Shibisu, because he's the only person that I consider had passed the test, the quote-unquote with perfect marks, so to speak, because he knew exactly what he was doing the moment he walked in. Told you why, and that hit me big time in the webtoon, and it didn't hit me at all in the anime. I felt like they rushed by, they kind of just sped by everyone else, because Lore is a regular we're gonna see a lot, and him just waking up annoyed because he's a Fonsical and then he just kicks the door open and he goes in and is right is a moment that I think is important. I think Shibisu needed to have more emphasis on the fact that he was a guy who figured out the test, but it is what it is. I'm not surprised. It kind of blew by it. But anyway, I'm not sure about why. Now when animes change the order of stuff, I always ask myself, why did they do it? What was the reason behind the decision? And if I can come up with a good one, where, oh, okay, maybe it would have been confusing to know it now, but in this moment where he's actually, you know, he's trying to achieve his goals, you flash back to the motivations that made him want to have this goal in mind. I get that. Something like that happens. I can't think of a good reason why they just decided to show that like Maria flashback a little bit before, because the fluorescent bag guy, he actually comes and talks to Kun and yada yada about the hint before Kun starts thinking about the stuff with Maria and his mother. This happens before that, and he doesn't know shit about him or his family. It's Han Sung-Yu, the examiner, who mentions it to him in passing as they're leaving the test. Like, I know you're one of the exile of the Kun family because of how the family dynamic works. I'm not going to get into it. You'll understand that in the long run. And people who read it already know. But they made it seem like Kun was this one particular individual that goes through this within that family, and that's not the case. I think they kind of got the intention wrong there, the big picture takeaway, so to speak. But I'm not entirely sure why they put it where they put it, but it is what it is. It didn't really bother me, but it just like, I felt like the point of that moment is that while he's trying to process all the information that he has, you get the reasoning behind why he doesn't trust other people because of his past and what his mom said to him and what happened with Maria. That and Val comes full circle there. Like, I felt like it's more impactful in the moment. And truth be told, I really like the layout of this test when you're reading it with all the thought bubbles, thought bubbles. The way that it's displayed, you can tell it's just like an overflow of information and him kind of fighting against the past to try to find this answer. And almost like like you can kind of see Bam and Rack, like in this episode, they're running around doing nonsense. By the way, they're overdoing it with Rack. They're overdoing it. At this point, I did not see Rack as a clown. Now, a lot of us will read the series. We have whatever opinion we have about the leader. Shout out to the head turtle, but he was not. I did not think of him as a clown at this moment in time. He's like becoming like extra comic relief, and I don't need that. That's a nitpick. Sidebar. I went on a tangent. I thought that this episode was going to present his thinking process in such a visually appealing way, and I didn't really get that. It kind of let me down. So, I mean, I can't speak for the anime onlys. I'm not entirely sure what you got out of this. Maybe you loved it. I've seen just a little bit of comments saying a little bit confusing. It was all over the place, but we're kind of getting into the heart of the issue with adapting a series like this, because Tower of God is probably one of, if not one of the most dense. I'm using the term graphic novel, but I use it loosely. It could be from a comic book, a webtoon, manga, whatever you want, whatever. But I'm just talking about in terms of a story that's told with pictures and words. This might be the densest series I ever read in terms of information, especially the beginning. There's a lot of information thrown at you, and that's not sexy to animate. Like, just constant dialogue and exposition, and hey, this is how the tower works. This is how this works. Hey, bam, you don't know shit. Let me tell you everything because you a dummy and you just came to the tower. Like, it's there's so many things they're omitting that I'm just like, that's kind of significant, or at least at this point. Because a lot of the stuff in the beginning parts of this series kind of don't matter in the long run, unfortunately. But it's like there's so much missing. Like, there's so many little things and moments here. Like, when Rack starts laughing at Bam for like not knowing what the sky is, in the webtoon he gives him a glare, like it's almost like a curious, interesting glare before the screams interrupts that. He doesn't start laughing like you don't know what the sky is, and I feel like I don't like when they subtly change character kind of like intentions, motivations, and how they would act. Because first of all, this pink bad guy is not supposed to know shit about Kun and his family, but they went straight to Maria and Princess. They kind of like specified some stuff that, if I remember correctly, Kun doesn't really bring up until the later on in the first season. I want to say around chapter 55, 54, 53, 56. I want to say 55-ish, around there. And then Rack's like, you lost your banana, blah blah blah. Let me get to that. That's not the point. The point is that like they kind of pinpointed that too early. They gave this random guy the information instead of Han Sung-yu. Can't think of a good reason why they changed that. But in doing so, they made him pull out his his knife and get mad and like lash out. Like, Kun is not really impulsive like that. He gets irritated a lot, and he does lash out, and he has moments where he loses composure. But it's like, at this moment in time, we don't know that. As far as we know, he's always calm, he's always cool, he's always collected. And this was a really out of character scene to me, and a change that I didn't really understand. Like, again, that just didn't happen in the webtoon at all. There was no moment like that. That guy basically gave the hint. Kun didn't trust him, subtly kind of told him, fuck right off, and then the rest was history. But this might have been I will say this. I'm a huge Anak fan. I got some Anak stuff at the end. That was cool. The Crown Game is coming up next. The Crown Game is one of the highlights of the first season. However, I think we got here too fast. I feel like at least episode 6 or 7 is when we should have been starting the Crown Game. What I would have at the very least done is not force the Crown Game, even the little bit of explanation into this episode. I would let this entire episode pretty much be this test, and then start the Crown Game and the next one. But it seems to me like they're maybe trying to get through the entire first season of Tower of God with these 13 episodes, and it's gonna be messy if that's the case. I don't know. But again, I care about your thoughts more than mine, because I'll keep it real with you. I got the webtoon, so I'm chilling. I'm happy the anime came out. If everyone's enjoying it, and I'm gonna keep watching it and stuff, but it's like I expect better. I want better. This is not enough for me. This is mediocre. This is average. This is probably my least favorite episode from top to bottom. They're just lucky that I really like Anak, and I really like this. I really like this part of the series. So it's just like it's hard for me to just to not enjoy it. I'll find a way to kind of like it, but I wish it was done better. You guys let me know what you think. I'll be doing these weekly until it's done, and I'll probably keep going when we start Noblesse, and even got high school as well. So let me know what you guys think. Shout out to Han Sung-yu, Coffee Maniac, and we out of here. Yep.
Tears all falling, my heart is frozen.